I see your license, please. Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
I just got my license. You can't get my license. I grabbed my license right there. That's my license right there.
Put your hands behind your back. 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 Put your hands behind your back.
What did I do, sir?
Are you hit?
I think so. I can't feel my leg. I don't know what happened. I just grabbed my leg.
Richland 86690 at 1052.
Why did you shoot me?
Well, you dove head first back into your car.
I'm sorry.
Then you jumped back out. I'm telling you, get out of your car.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear 2 words, sir.
Welcome back to The Ed Show. Believe it or not, folks, on that videotape, that officer was the 2007 South Carolina Trooper of the Year. Highway Patrol Trooper Sean Gropert was caught on his dash cam shooting LeVar Edwards Jones in the hip as he reached for his driver's license after being told to do so. Now, all of this over an alleged seatbelt violation. The trooper was fired on September 19th and charged late Wednesday with felony assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature. The arrest warrant says that Gropert, the officer, did without justification unlawfully shoot LeVar Jones. On Wednesday night, the officer was freed on $75,000 bond while he awaits a trial date. Gropert faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Joining me tonight, South Carolina State Representative Todd Rutherford, who is also the attorney for LeVar Jones. Mr. Rutherford, good to have you with us tonight. I'm curious, what was your reaction the first time you saw that videotape?
You know, Ed, we were standing in bond court the first time the solicitor played the videotape, and when she played it, there was a correctional officer standing in front of me, and the correctional officer jumped, as did I, as soon as the shots rang out. Couldn't believe it. But the shock and awe continued when they read Sean Gruber's statement, and his statement talked about how LeVar Jones had approached the car in an aggressive manner, how LeVar Jones stood aggressively, how he reached into his car as if he was retrieving something from the car, none of which was true. And that was the most disturbing part about watching that video, is listening to what Trooper Gruber had to say about what he had just done.
Has your client seen the videotape over and over again?
You know, Ed, he watched it the first time, and it shook him up so much he's tried not to watch it again, and I don't think that he has. A number of people call, and they want to know how he's still alive, because he took literally 4 or 5 shots at close range. And but for the fact that Trooper Gruber was an awful shot, he may not be here today.
Well, the trooper is claiming that your client reached into the car in an aggressive manner. What's your response to that?
You know, Ed, that is the beauty of a videotape. But for that videotape, all they would have had was Sean Gruber's statement, which said that he was doing aggressive movements and that he was threatening the officer. Thank God for that videotape, because everybody gets to look at it. Millions of people have now viewed it, and they get to see that LeVar Jones did nothing but comply with the trooper's commands. The trooper said, "Where is your ID?" He patted his back pocket, realized it was not in his back pocket, and then reached in the car to get it. And the viewers will know, because they saw the videotape, even afterwards, he apologized to the trooper and said, "What did I do? Why did you shoot me? What happened? Why did this happen? I was just trying to do what you told me to." And he said that over and over again. Even after he was shot, he put his hands behind his back in compliance with the trooper's orders. He was handcuffed. Prior to that point, the trooper said, "Get out of the car." LeVar Jones moved out of the car, raised his hands, and he still got shot at. He did everything he could that day to comply, and it didn't matter. The trooper simply shot at him anyway.
It looks like your client moved so quickly, you know, anxious to do the right thing, had his hands up, moved so quickly that it startled the police officer. Is that a defense in a court of law, in your opinion?
That is, being startled is not a defense to shooting someone. What your viewers may not know, when you look at the videotape, you don't see LeVar Jones pull into the Circle K gas station. LeVar Jones pulled in on what would have been Sean Gruber's left. Sean Gruber looked over to his left, saw LeVar Jones, and then spun around to his right, so that when he pulled his vehicle up, he was right at LeVar Jones' feet almost, standing in his doorway. So LeVar Jones looks at him, tries to comply, and realizes again, I don't have it in my back pocket. So he turns and reaches in the car. He turns very quickly, but he is trying only to comply. Had the trooper wanted him to, he could have said, "Step away from your vehicle." Had the trooper demanded, "Come forward, don't move towards your vehicle," he would have done so. LeVar Jones only tried to comply, and compliance got him shot. Moving quickly is not a defense.
Does he feel like he's lucky to be alive? Shot at 4 times, hit once at close range.
You know, listen, God was certainly with him that day. He's a Christian man. He's a praying man. There's no doubt about the fact that God was on his side. And we're very grateful for that. And I think all of America is. Because anytime somebody in this case who was simply driving while black and gets pulled over in a parking lot for not having his seatbelt on, gets shot at and hit in his hip, God is certainly with him to make sure that he's here today.
I think the question begs at this point, do you think your client was treated differently because he's African American?
I think it's unfortunate, but it's true. I think that he suffered from driving while black. He's pulling into a gas station. He had taken his seatbelt off to jump out of the car and run into the gas station and get something. And in the process of doing so, he is ordered by a trooper to do something. He complies, and in complying, he gets shot. There is no doubt about the fact that had he been another race, had he been another color, this would not have happened.
Mr. Rutherford, some are speculating that the officer has PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. This, of course, from a previous shooting. If true, should he have had a gun? And is that a defense for him at this point? Should he even been on the street if that's the case?
PTSD is not a defense. And in South Carolina, our laws are so strict, he would not be able, in my opinion, to mount an insanity defense. And you're exactly right. If he truly had PTSD and suffered from PTSD, he should not have been given a gun. There were several things that he should have done. There were several things his training would have taught him to do if LeVar Jones truly startled him by jumping into that car. He did nothing but open fire.
And Todd, are you comfortable with the action that the police force took firing this former Trooper of the Year in 2007 in South Carolina?
You know, thus far, in looking in retrospect, I think that they've done everything that was expected of them. They've certainly done more than anybody did in Ferguson. They released the tape. They fired the trooper. They had him arrested. They've done exactly what I think anybody could have expected of them.
Okay. You think a conviction is coming?
You know, I don't know. It's one of those things where, unfortunately, driving while black carries with it the stigma that juries tend to let officers go for doing so. And the record is replete, not only in South Carolina, but around the country, for people shooting young black men and getting away with it, and especially law enforcement officers. So we hope that is not the case in this particular instance.
South Carolina State Representative and attorney for LeVar Jones, Todd Rutherford, great to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ed.
Coming